Hello and welcome to my channel In Search of Wonder. My name is Anne and today I have two tags. So the first tag is the Honest BookTuber Tag, and I was tagged by Cheryl at Candlewick Library, and the original tag creator was Harriet Rosie 13. These questions are pretty straightforward, and I think that my answers are going to be not very interesting. These are the sort of questions that would unearth some dirt, if there were dirt to unearth. But alas and alack, at least when it comes to my BookTube channel, I have no dirt to unearth. That doesn't make sense. It doesn't make any sense at all. But anyways, let's go on. The first question is, have you ever lied about reading a book? No, I have not. I guess that's a thing that does happen on BookTube, where people, give a review for a book, but they haven't actually read it yet. I have heard that it happens, but I've never done that. I don't do like books for review. Like the books that I review are ones that I just want to read them. So I don't read them. I don't like sign up to do reviews, or I don't do them officially in any kind of way. So it's just me and my opinions. And so if I read it, I talk about it. If I haven't read it, then. Number two, have you ever avoided a book because of controversy around the content or author? And around the author, no, I don't think so. And I don't know about controversy. I mean, the way this is phrased, I don't particularly think that's the case. However, I will say that there are books that I don't read if I know something about the content for one reason or another. Like if people talk about, certain aspects of content being in it, I'm just not interested in reading that, so I will not read those. But just because something is controversial is not a reason for me to read or not to read. And number three, have you ever been sent a book for free and not disclosed it? And no, like I said, I don't sign up to do reviews in any kind of official capacity. So, have you ever bought a book with no intention of reading it? Well, let's be honest, I've bought many books that I ended up not reading and have either unhauled or they're still sitting on my shelves. But I do believe whenever I pick up a book, it is with the honest intention of reading it at some point. Do I actually read it or not is another question, but the intention is definitely there. Number five, have you ever got caught up in BookTube drama? And no, I have not. I think that the circles of BookTube that I run in is pretty drama-free, thankfully. So I've never been caught up in any kind of BookTube drama. I honestly couldn't even tell you an example of what BookTube drama looks like. So, no. Number six, have you ever had a hate comment and did you respond? And thankfully, no, because that would not be fun. And I mean, if it was a genuinely hateful comment, I probably would just delete it. I mean, it's different if someone just has an opposing viewpoint to mine. That would be different. And if they're just disagreeing with me, that's not a hate comment. But if it is like a, purposefully mean, vindictive, rude comment that does not contribute to the conversation in a meaningful way, I probably would just delete it and not even bother responding. Have you ever made a video just because you knew it would get views? And no, because I am personally not savvy enough to know which videos will get views. And I'm always a little bit surprised at the videos that do get views as opposed to the ones that don't get as many. So, I mean, I guess not really. Like, there are sometimes I make a video and I make it for my own interest's sake because it's something that interests me and I wanted to make it, or I had like an idea and I wanted to, act on my idea. But I kind of know this is probably not to everyone's taste and I might not get as many views with this. So occasionally I know, but usually I don't know. So no, I'm just not smart enough to do that. Have you ever, no. If you could go back to the beginning of your channel, would you do anything differently? Well, I guess, hopefully the longer I've been on BookTube, I have improved and will continue to improve. And certainly there are things that have changed and shifted and just turned out differently, or turned out that I do them differently as I go forward on BookTube. But I don't think that there's anything that I would look back and say, oh, I definitely should not have done that. I would totally do it differently. I might do it better, maybe, hopefully, but not really. There's nothing that's like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. Number 9, are there any channels you wish you could be more like? Well, there are definitely many channels that I admire. I admire the channels that have the expertise and take the time to do really good editing, adding different special effects, or like the lower third like things, or cards that go with that can go like on the screen with labels for like different categories of things, like for this tag, for example, like people who make graphics for that sort of thing. I could figure that out, and I have once or twice, you know, attempted to do things like that, but it's so time consuming, and I prefer to just really just keep it simple. Otherwise I will not be able to keep up with it. So, however, I admire the channels that do take the time to do that, that take the time to edit, to put in like little funny clips and things. Celestia's really good at that, and Tabitha and a few other people that I can think of. And that just Chrissy of Chrissy's Purple Library, her editing is amazing. Like, I really enjoy that, but I enjoy watching it, but I don't necessarily wish I could be like that, because I know that it is a big time investment. And I'm so thankful that there are people who enjoy it and take the time to do that. I'm not one of them. It's something that would be more work for me than enjoyment, and it would prohibit me from making any more videos. So I don't do that, but I certainly enjoy watching people who do. Or the people who do really lovely, like, B-roll. I think of The Bookish Princess, and Old American Spirit, and Miranda Mills, and there's another one. Water Bear Reads, who like really just kind of set a mood with like nature footage, or even footage that they take inside, that just kind of setting the mood and setting a tone. And I really love watching that. But again, the time factor and also the ability factor for me is not really there. Like, I feel like I would totally fail at that. So I've never even tried, but I really like watching those videos. I enjoy people who are able to do that and do it well. And so I admire them. I don't necessarily wish to be like them, because that is not me, but I certainly enjoy watching other people do that. Number 10, what's something you love about your channel? There's not anything like specifically myself that I say, oh, I really like this about my channel. I like this, that I bring it to BookTube. What I like about my channel is the platform that it gives me to talk about books that interest me, and the people that also like to talk about the books that interest me, and that we get to talk together. That's what I like. But that's, I think, it's not unique to my channel. I think that's what almost any booktuber would say about their channel. So now I'm supposed to tag some people for this one, the Honest BookTuber Tag. So I tag M at M's Books Are Everywhere, and Madeline at Cozy Cottage Chapters. And I look forward to seeing your tags about the Honest BookTuber. And now, the Phenomenal Women Tag. I was tagged by a novel idea, and the original creator was Marilyn Maya Mendoza. And this is a short one, so it won't take me, famous last words, real long to get through this one. But I did have to do some thinking about this. This was not an off-the-cuff sort of one. I had to think about my answers for this. So the first question is, who is your favorite phenomenal woman author? And there are so many. There are so many. Like, I could not give you an exhaustive list. I think of Lucy Maud Montgomery, who is amazing. Of course, I think Jane Austen. I mean, obviously. I think of the Brontes, particularly Charlotte and Bronte. I think of Elizabeth Gaskell. All of them are amazing, and there are so many others that I have not named that would fit this, that I think are phenomenal women authors. But the one that I'm going to mention right now is fresh on my mind because I recently read a book by her. I had read 3 books by her more than 20 years ago, and I really, really loved them, but I haven't picked up anything else by her. And I really do want to. I want to read more of her books, and I want to reread the ones that I did read so long ago because I don't remember much about them. So the one that I reread recently, and the author in question is Edith Wharton. And I just recently read Ethan Frome, which if you watched my most recent reading wrap-up, I talked about this book. And I realized anew, like if you had asked me, you know, a month ago or so, I would have said that I liked Edith Wharton and I remember liking the books that I read by her, but I wouldn't have been able to tell you too much more than that about what I liked or why I liked her writing or why I liked her books. But my memory has been refreshed since reading this one. And it really is a little bit hard to define. Maybe once I have reread the other books by her and then read some more, I'll be able to get a more definitive answer as to why I like her writing and what I enjoy about it. But one, I like that she doesn't overdo her narration. So she was writing at the end of the 19th century and into the 20th century. And so we were coming off the very verbose Victorian era of writing. And she's not like that at all. She doesn't have the verbose, long descriptive aspects to her writing. It's more of a spare narrative style, which I really enjoy. And at the same time, nothing is lacking in it. You feel yourself immersed in the setting. I mean, this book is very atmospheric. When they are outside in the wintry landscape, you feel like you're there with them. And then when they're inside in this kind of dim and gloomy atmosphere by the fire, you really feel like you're there. And also the relationships between the different people, by the way that each of the characters speaks, and they have their own voice, and by the things that they say to each other and the way she describes the dialogue and everything, the way she couches the dialogue, you feel like you are there with them. And like if there's tension, you can cut the tension with a knife because you really feel it. Or if there's affection, you can feel it. Or if there's desire and longing, you feel it. You just, not only do you get the dialogue between the people, but you feel like you are there as an eyewitness to the conversation, and so you can experience the emotions that go along with whatever the dialogue is that is taking place. So I really have enjoyed rereading Ethan Frome. And the other books that I have read by her are, and I have all these like vintage copy. Well, this is a vintage copy also. This is vintage. I think it was, when was this one published? 1970. This is a 1970 edition, and this is a 1964 edition. And this one I really need to replace because it's a little bit, like I'm not sure it's gonna survive another reread. But this is The House of Mirth by Edith Wharton, about Lily Bart. And I think that one is kind of a sad story, but I remember enjoying it. And then this one, I got this one because I loved the movie when it came out many years ago. And so then I read the book and I loved the book even more. And that was the first Edith Wharton that I read. And again, it's like you just really feel the relationships and the different, the things. And this one, there's so much that is not said between two characters. There's always like an undercurrent beneath the dialogue. And so you're reading what they're actually saying to each other, but you're also hearing the undercurrent of unspoken dialogue that is taking place between them. And it's amazing how she does that. So that is The Age of Innocence by Edith Wharton. Those are the three that I have read, and I want to read some more by her as well. Then the second question is your favorite phenomenal woman character. And again, there are so many. Like I could choose several of the Jane Austen characters that I think would be great. And there are so many other, you know, fabulous female heroines and protagonists. But the one I'm going to go with is Amy Dorrit from Little Dorrit by Charles Dickens. And I read this almost a year ago, and I really loved his contrast of Amy Dorrit, who was in genuinely an abusive situation where her family members were so narcissistic and they took advantage of her sweet nature, and they treated her much more like a servant who owed them something than simply daughter, sister. There was not that secure family relationship that should have been there. She was definitely taken advantage of and put upon by her closest relations, the people who should have loved and protected her. And but she has such a sweet spirit and a sweet nature. She overcomes that treatment. And it's contrasted with another character in the story who is an adopted girl who does have more of a servant role in the family that takes her in. She's kind of, you know, back then it wasn't like a foster child or an officially like adopted child of the family. It was someone that they took in because she had nowhere else to go, and they basically gave her a position as companion for their daughter. And so that was her status in the household, but she wanted to have equal footing with the girl that she was a companion for, and they were, you know, of similar age, etc. And so even though the family treated her very kindly and was not abusive to her at all, she saw her treatment as being abusive. She saw herself as being put upon and taken advantage of. And so she developed a very bitter spirit. And so she became a bitter person. And I can't remember if she actually did do some like truly awful things, or she was on the verge of doing some really awful things, but then, you know, was didn't actually follow through. I can't remember, but I do remember that Charles Dickens was contrasting these two girls in these different situations, and Amy Dorr was definitely the better natured of the two. And I really enjoyed her strong but sweet character and how she kind of overcame her family dynamics. And then number 3, a book to award a book prize to, a book that I would award a book prize to. And that was a hard question. I had a hard time with that one. And in the end, I settled on I Must Betray You by Ruta Sepetys. But I honestly would be willing to give that to either of the 2 books that I have read by her, which Fountains of Silence is the other one. And I have a feeling that I would say the same about the other books by her that I have not read yet. One is Salt of the Sea, which I have on hand. And what is the other one? Out of the Easy, maybe, is another one that I have by her. I have 2 others. I feel like I probably would say the same thing about any of them, that they're just really well written, and you really get drawn into the story, but she's also really imparting important things. There's historical detail that is brought to light, and things that happened in a variety of cultures and places in the 20th century that are not too far removed from us today. And she just brings them to light, and her research is incredible, and the way that she tells the story is incredible, and they're very readable, easy to read, and I really have enjoyed all of her books. But of the 2 I read, I would pick I Must Betray You to award a bookish prize of some kind too. And so then finally, I'm supposed to tag some phenomenal women booktubers, and honestly, I could go on forever. Like phenomenal women authors, there are so many phenomenal female booktubers. So I'm just going to leave a whole list in the description box of booktubers, and I'm not necessarily tagging you as in saying, tag, you're it, go make this video. More like just honoring these women as phenomenal women booktubers. If you want to do this tag, go for it. Otherwise, ignore. And also, if you are watching this video, go ahead and check out my list of other channels that I really enjoy watching. These are the channels that when they have a video up, I make sure that I go and watch it. And yeah, I hope you enjoy their channels if you are not aware of them already. So that's the Phenomenal Women book tag, and also the Honest BookTuber book tag, 2 for 1 today. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time.